In 2007, Maria and her family set out on a somber journey. She submitted this tale to Spooky Scary Storytime, a chilling recounting of an experience that still haunts her. It began with a drive from Florida to Georgia, a trip unplanned, born from the sudden loss of their favorite uncle. His funeral had just ended, and Maria, behind the wheel, guided her 3 siblings and her sister-in-law northward along Interstate 75. Despite the weight of grief, the car hummed with unexpected lightness, laughter and jokes cutting through the heavy air. They left Florida at 5 p.m., embarking on what Maria knew would be a grueling 10-hour-plus drive. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the road stretched endlessly ahead. 5 hours in, Maria had to use a restroom. The highway signs blurred past, and she made a snap decision. The next exit, no matter what, would be their stop. She veered off I-75, tires humming on the off-ramp, only to find nothing. No signs greeted them. No arrows pointing to gas, food, or civilization. Just a dark, unmarked 2-lane road slicing through a sea of trees. Maria pressed on, undeterred. "There's got to be a gas station," she muttered, her voice tight with urgency. The road wound on, stretching into what felt like an eternity. 15 minutes of unbroken silence. No streetlights, no cars, no signs of life. It was a Sunday night in rural Georgia, and the world seemed to have gone to sleep. Then, a faint glow pierced the darkness. Ahead, lights flickered, an oasis in the void. A gas station. Maria pulled into the lot, gravel crunching under the tires, and leapt from the car. She didn't pause to look around. Her only thought was the bathroom. She bolted inside, disappearing into the dim interior. As she emerged from the restroom, something prickled at the edges of her awareness. Her siblings stood frozen, their faces pale, eyes wide with unspoken alarm. No one said a word. Her sister brushed past her, hurrying to the bathroom, leaving Maria to finally take in her surroundings. The gas station was wrong. A single fluorescent bulb hung from the ceiling, casting a sickly, flickering light that buzzed like a dying insect. Shadows danced in the corners, and the air felt thick, oppressive. Maria's gaze drifted to her brother, hoping for a shared glance, a quip about the creepiness. But he wasn't looking at her. He was staring, transfixed, at the man behind the counter. An older figure, tall, about 6 feet, with deep wrinkles carved into his thin face. He stood motionless, his eyes locked on them, yet somehow vacant, as if he were staring through them into some unseen abyss. Maria's skin crawled. Was he even breathing? She couldn't tell from across the room, but the stillness of him, the unblinking gaze, sent a shiver down her spine. Trying to shake the dread coiling in her gut, Maria moved toward the aisles. Snacks, drinks, something normal to anchor her. But as she walked, her fingers brushed against dusty packets, their labels faded and strange. Vintage designs, logos she didn't recognize, frozen in time despite the year being 2007. The unease deepened. Her sister emerged from the bathroom, and in that moment, an unspoken agreement passed between them all. Maria grabbed her sister's hand, and they ran, bolting for the car without a backward glance. "I don't know what it was," Maria later recalled. "I just knew we needed to get out of there." They piled in, hearts pounding, and Maria floored it, tires screeching as they fled. "We'll find another gas station," she said, her voice trembling but resolute. The road stretched back toward the highway, or so she thought. Maria knew this route. She'd driven it countless times. No GPS needed, just her memory and a basic candy bar phone with no maps. But as they sped along, the interstate didn't appear. The trees loomed taller, the darkness thicker. Then, impossibly, lights flickered ahead again. The same gas station, on the same side of the road. Maria's breath caught. They hadn't turned, hadn't forked. How were they here? Her logical mind scrambled for an explanation, a missed turn, a loop she hadn't noticed. She slowed, peering through the windshield. There he was, the old man, now at the window, staring out at them. Still not moving, still not blinking. Her brother's voice cracked. Just go, just go. She slammed the gas pedal, hitting 100 miles an hour, the car roaring into the night. No crickets chirped. No frogs croaked. Maria realized it then. The silence outside the gas station had been absolute, a void where nature should have been. She gripped the wheel tighter, eyes scanning for a turn, a fork, anything to explain this nightmare. The road stayed straight, unyielding. And then there was again the gas station. But this time, the lights were off, the windows boarded up, the lot abandoned. Yet Maria knew it was the same place. The tire marks from their earlier escape still scarred the gravel. Her brother shouted, "Go, go, go!" And she obeyed, pushing the car to its limits. 5 minutes later, the highway appeared as if it had been waiting all along. They sped on to I-75, hearts hammering, minds reeling. How had they escaped? They didn't know. The experience shattered them. One brother refused to ever speak of it. Maria no longer talked to her sister. Her deaf brother would discuss it, but only through a translator. They couldn't make sense of what they'd seen, what they'd felt. But the story didn't end there. An email arrived from a man calling himself John Doe. He claimed his father had worked at that gas station off I-75 and State Road 376 in 1984. 2 pumps, a body shop on the property, sometimes functional, surrounded by dense forest. It might have been called Ben's or Bobby's or some man's name with a B, though ownership and names shifted often. John Doe's father had told a wild tale. That night in 1984, he'd seen time travelers or ghosts from the future pull away in a car he swore wasn't from his time. His family dismissed it. His history of pills and alcohol painted him as unreliable. His wife left, taking John Doe and his sister, cutting contact for 16 years. They reconnected when John Doe was 29, after his first daughter's birth. "Why did you relapse?" John Doe asked. "I never did," his father insisted. "I saw them, people from the future." John Doe, now 54, shared this anonymously. He worked in a field demanding evidence, had a wife and 3 daughters building their lives. He feared embarrassment, but also guilt. For 16 years he'd thought his father mad. Maria confirmed she'd had no phone on her in 2007, ruling out tech as a clue. John Doe's full emails were posted on TikTok, linked for all to read. Then came the flood. Over 75 emails from others, claiming strange encounters in that area. Maria's tale placed it 5 hours from Florida toward Georgia. John Doe pinned it to I-75 and State Road 376. The details aligned, yet the truth remained elusive. A gas station lost in time, a man who didn't move, a family trapped in a loop, and a father haunted by visions. This mystery is now frozen in time and left for the world to unravel.